Hello everyone. So today we'll be exploring CSS buttons. So let's just get started. So we'll start by first of all creating the index.html page. So let's do it. Okay. So after that, let me just add the boilerplate code. Okay, let me replace the title with button. Okay, so now for the CSS part, let me quickly create a file style.css. Now I need to link this file here using the link tag, and okay, looks fine. So after that, what I can do is I can just start my live server. So that I can view this page in the browser. Let me just refresh it. Okay, now this page is loading here. So now let's start with our button. So let us use the button tag, and I'll put the content as click me. So as soon as I refresh this, our button is loaded in the browser. So this is the basic button which we get. So now let us apply some style to this button. So we can do, first of all, let us do one thing. Let us just assign one ID to this button so that we can use it in style.css file. So I've given an ID called btn. So here I'll be referring to that button through this selector. Yeah. So since it's an ID, so I have used a hash sign. If it was a class, we'll be using a dot. So now let us start with our button. So first of all, let me put my button let me move the button towards the center. So for that I can use margin, and then margin left directly. I can use margin left. Suppose I'll give 200 px. So you can see my button has moved towards the center. It has moved 200 px towards the center. So now instead of this I can use margin. So I can include all the margin from all the sides in one single line, which will be like the top margin. If I put suppose 200 px only, and the right, if I put, let it be 0, bottom let it be 0, and the left let it be 200 px. So now if you see, there's a margin from both the sides, from left and as well as from the top. So what this does is it follows a pattern. Top, right, bottom, and then left. So the 4 values you can assign in this manner. Margin. So margin is basically the distance outside our element. So this is our element is the button. And then if we apply margin, then it will be applied externally. So that is why we are able to achieve this spacing, the gap. So this was margin. Let us now add another property called padding. So padding will basically we can use padding in order to increase the space inside the button. So since here you can see uh, padding will basically increase the space between the border and the content, so it will make this button a bit bigger. Or else we can directly assign fixed width and height to the button. or else we can use padding. So let us put padding. So I'll put suppose top bottom I'll put 14 px, and left and right I'll put 26 px. Yeah, so you can see the size of the button has changed. So this earlier, this was following TRBL, so this here I have applied only two values. So what it will do is the first value will be for the top and bottom, and the second will be for the right and left. Similarly, if I had given only one value, say 14px, then that same value will be applied for all the four sides. So like this we can apply margin and padding. So margin and padding we have applied. So let us now add some more properties to the button. Let us design our button. So what should we add is, first of all, let us add a background. Let us put a background to our button. Background color, let me put it red. So you can see the button has turned red. If I put green, yeah, so the button has turned green. And then you can apply whichever color you want. Okay, so now after applying the background green, so now the text present in the button is not visible. So in order to make it visible, we can change the color of the text, so that we can change the color using the color property. So I'll just change the color to something which is visible. Okay, so now our text is clearly visible. So this looks the button looks good in comparison to the default button which we got. This looks much better. So here now we can do few more things, like first of all, the sharp edges we can make it a bit curved using the border radius property. We can make use of this property. So 10px, suppose if I put, then yeah, so you can see the sides of the button is a curve. So since I have applied only one value, so it will act on all the four sides. So this was 10px of border radius. Suppose here I can use percentage as well. And if I'll show one more thing. So if I put suppose 5%, let me put 5%. So we can see a bit of curve is there. So let me make it 15. Yeah. Suppose if I make it 50%. So if I want a circle, I can make it 50%. Yeah, and then you can see it is turned to a circle. So this was the border radius property. I'll just remove it and I'll keep it as 5px. So yeah, this looks good. After this we have our border property. Border, by default there is a border, so we can modify this border as well. Suppose if I want 2px of border, then I'll make it solid, and then the third we can use we can give color. So if I give a color, suppose red, so you can see I've applied this border. The change is being reflected in the button. So now we can change this to any color we want. Okay, since the background is a bit dark, so the border is not quite visible. So if it was a transparent button, then it would have been, the border would have been visible. So yeah, So that is fine. So border is there. So now let us, so this was a basic button design. So now let us see the uh, hover property, btn. So we can define the hover through this thing here. So whatever code we'll put inside this thing, these will be acting when we place our cursor over the button. So now first of all what we can do is, first of all we can change the background color on hover. So currently it is green, so I'll make it blue. Yeah, so you can see the color of the button has changed. And then similarly, like we changed the background, we can also change the text color. In this case we don't need it since the text is visible. So here this was background color blue. So one more thing we can do, we can make the background transparent. So what this will do is it will by default take the background color which is already there. So in this case it will take white. So you can see the default background color it is taking. So now in this case we'll need to change the color of the text or else it won't be visible. So since our background is white, so we need something that is dark. So color, so let me use black. Okay, yeah, so now you can see looks better. So yeah, this was the basic button design. We can alter the values and then check it. So for now I think this is fine. So we'll continue the design in the next video. So thank you.